Hi there. Today we're making delicious, homemade, budget-friendly, flavorful chicken broth without the salt that doesn't sacrifice taste. Making your own chicken broth is almost as easy as boiling water, and the uses for homemade broth, beyond soup, are endless. It can jazz up all sorts of dishes, from pasta to casseroles to cooked vegetables, and they can all be made with your own healthier and tasty homemade broth. Now this does take some time, so I like to make a batch on the weekend and freeze extra broth for future meals. This broth recipe can be made on the stove or even a slow cooker if you prefer. I've assembled here the ingredients, which are 3 stalks of celery chopped with leaves, 2 medium carrots chopped, 1 large onion chopped, 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 of a teaspoon of dried thyme or basil, 2 bay leaves, and about 2.5 pounds of bony chicken pieces, such as wings, backs, and necks. These are the parts of the chicken that don't have a lot of meat, so they're inexpensive to buy. If you don't see them in the meat case at the supermarket, ask the person behind the counter if they have a few extra wings, backs, or necks. Or you could also cut these parts off of 2 or 3 whole raw chickens that you purchased for roasting. And of course, you could use other parts of chicken, such as chicken breasts, but the broth won't be as flavorful because the bones add rich chicken flavor. Now, you'll need a large pot that can hold about 10 to 12 cups or 3 quarts of water like this. I'm going to add all of the ingredients. Carrots, onion, thyme, pepper, our 2 bay leaves, our pieces of bony chicken, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to cover them with our 6 cups of cold water. There we go. Very nice. And I'm going to cover this, and you know, making this without any salt is certainly healthier, and it allows you to enjoy the rich taste of the broth. So now I'm going to bring the pot to a boiling heat. We're going to use high heat. There we go. And I want a rolling boil, which means lots of bubbles, you know, and you will see them popping on the surface. Okay, my broth is at a rolling boil now. I'm going to turn on the heat and put it on low and let it simmer for 2 hours. Simmering is where a few small bubbles come to the surface every once in a while. After 2 hours, we're going to carefully remove the chicken pieces with either your tongs or a large slotted spoon. And we're going to put them on a plate or a cutting board. This smells delicious. Nice. Okay. Be careful because it's hot. I think I have just one more and we're done. Okay. We're going to put them here and let them cool slightly. Then, using your fingers or a fork, you're going to remove the skin and the meat. I'm going to do this. Okay. And you can throw the skin and the bones out, but refrigerate the meat for chicken noodle soup or chicken tacos or another use. Now, place a large strainer over a bowl like this. We're going to put them in the sink. And now we're going to be very careful. And we're going to pour the soup through the colander, like this. There we go. Okay. All right, this is to strain out the vegetables and the seasonings. You can throw these out, or you can save them now for a stir fry. Here we go. Very good. Okay, now we're going to place the bowl of broth in the refrigerator, and we're going to let it chill until a layer of fat has solidified on the top of the liquid. This usually takes about 6 to 8 hours. So, it's been about 8 hours, and you can see the fat has risen to the top of the broth. And now it will be easy for me to lift off all that fat with this large wooden spoon, like this. Just take your time and take it all off. And there you go, homemade, healthier broth without the salt. You can refrigerate the broth if you're going to use it within 3 days. Or you can freeze the broth in a zip-top plastic freezer bag or a resealable plastic container. It can keep in the freezer for about 6 months. Another thing I like to do is to freeze some broth in ice cube trays. Then when I'm cooking vegetables, rice, or pasta, I add the broth cube for a shot of flavor instead of salt. To make them, I just pour the broth into the ice cube trays and freeze. Then I remove the broth cubes from the tray and place them in a plastic zip-top freezer bag. Now, if you'd rather make the broth in a slow cooker, here's how. Just use the same amount of chicken and other ingredients, but instead of 6 cups of water, you only need to add 4 cups of water to the slow cooker. Then cover and cook on low heat setting for 8 to 10 hours, or on high heat setting for about 4 to 5 hours. All the other instructions remain the same. So, set aside a weekend day to assemble a few ingredients, boil some water, and cook up some delicious, heart-healthy chicken broth for soups, pasta, vegetables, and so many more meal options. Bye for now.